Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to this online training on multimedia resources for education, for teaching, learning and assessment. My name is Tanvi Khurana and today is the day 4 of this entire online training. Well, if you have not watched the earlier sessions, the day 1, the day 2 and day 3, then please watch it on NCERT official. And if you have not registered yourself, then please do it right away. Today is the 4th day and the topic that we are covering today is process of developing multimedia resources. So far in this entire theme, we have understood the concept, the need and scope of multimedia resources, the curation of multimedia resources, and also what are the types and exemplars of multimedia resources. So there's a lot to know about it yet. We have today's session and we have tomorrow's session as well. As you all know that every month, the last week, we cover this entire training, this online training, and the fields that we take, they are educational technology and ICT education. So every 4 to 5 p.m. every day, almost every day, Monday to Friday, we take this session. And there's a lot to learn. And let me tell you, if you have not registered yourself, there are multiple methods through which you can do it. So let me show you our website, which is CIET. And all you have to do is Google CIET on your screens, and then you can open this page. And here is the page, if you can see. So you'll get CIET, the main page here, and among all these options, you can see events. If you'll scroll it down, the third last option is workshop/training. Just scroll it down a little bit, and here is the current activity, which is our online training, 22nd August to 26th August. Click on this and a new page will open, and this is every information regarding the online training on multimedia resources for teaching, learning and assessment. The schedule is given, all the information is given, and here if you'll see, this is the form by which you can register yourself, or you can scan this QR code for registration. Here, if you'll see, the quiz link will be given to you tomorrow. And after the session, this quiz link will be updated here. All you have to do is take this quiz, and if you score a percentage more than 70, then you'll get a certificate. Here is the playlist link, and on this playlist, all the sessions, all the videos which we have done earlier in this online training have been put. So all you have to do is click here and you'll get all the earlier videos. So this is all about our online training. I would request you again to please register yourself and participate in this program. You can also raise your questions, queries. I'm sure you have a lot of questions regarding this entire training about multimedia resources. So write it down in our YouTube channel, which is NCERT official. In the live chat box, you can write down all you want, all your queries, your questions, and it is going to be an interactive program, so please be active, be aware, and respond as many questions to as possible. So till 5 o'clock, we have an expert with us, and he'll be asking you questions. He'll be answering your questions. So let me introduce him to all of you. He is Dr. Sameer Sahasrabuddhe. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tanvi.
Thank you, sir. So, sir is a professor of practice in design from Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT Gandhinagar, Gujarat. And here is Professor Sahasrabuddhe. Here he is. And sir will be answering your questions towards the end of the program. So we'll take as many questions as the time permits. And if you have questions and you want to call us, then you can simply call on the number, which is 8800440559. And if you want to email us, if that's the process you find feasible easily, then that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Without wasting any more time, let's just begin this conversation, and let's ask sir, what is the focus of this entire discussion? Sir.
Yes, so namaskar to everyone, and I'm happy to see a strong audience on this 4th day, because I saw all of you on the first day of this particular topic, and as already said, we have gone through various aspects of multimedia resources. And today, I am going to discuss the processes involved in that. And those of you who were on the first day or they have seen the video of multiple days that have passed in the background, you will recall that we discussed a long list of various multimedia options. Like what are these various multimedia? Why this word comes up as multimedia? So I'm sure all of you are already aware of this, and since we are on live on YouTube also, so all those who are there can just start off by just answering this on their chat to tell you like what are the different types of multimedia resources that we discussed maybe so far. So you can list any two of them. Like I don't want everyone to type the entire list of things, but just as an icebreaker, and I wanted to know whether we are serious about all these things. Let me just get some quick feedback from all of you. So, Tanvi, if you can get some names popping up there right now and tell us about if people have already started doing. And I'm sure because if they have seen this, they will start showing us. And I'm just going to show the next slide also so that people can kind of compare their list, because this is not really a quiz question here and we are not getting any marks for solving this, but just to know whether you can think of all the kind of possible questions that are the multimedia that we discussed.
Absolutely. So we have got responses, and Tara Kadadia, one of our viewers, she's saying audio video, and then we've got multiple responses by multiple viewers, and there's Chetna Singh, another viewer. She's saying audio, video, graphics, photograph, animation, virtual reality, metaverse, and that's one more expert, one more viewer. He is saying text, and we've got a lot of responses. I can't read them all, but yes, we have got so many responses.
Okay, great. So I think I'm really happy to see people have picked up even the last line of the entire thing. So the metaverse was something we spoke very briefly on the first day, and we just said that these many mediums are available, and there are 3 dots at the end that just says that the mediums are actually also increasing in numbers as we progress in inventions in science and discovery. So yes, mediums are plenty of them, but the topic today we are going to talk about is how to produce it. So what is the process of producing these things? As you can see, because we have an extensive list of mediums, I'm sure in an hour's time we cannot actually give justice to explain the production process of each one of them in detail. So what am I going to do? I am going to start off by giving very broad do's and don'ts about most of the commonly used mediums. However, I'm going to focus slightly more on something which is like very nearer to heart for everybody, which is video. Because video is kind of mother of all mediums where combination of things happen. It has audio, it has graphics, it has animation, it has obviously moving images or we call it video. So it would be in this fashion. However, I'll be open to answering questions towards the end for the lesser used mediums such as simulation and virtual reality and so on and so on. But this is how we are going to actually work. Right, so I think if everyone is on the same page now, because I saw that you were commenting about metaverse, so I'm really happy that yes, people have actually remembered all these things that we spoke in the first session. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get on to the first thing, which is the audio. Now, audio is a very primitive, like even from the evolution of mankind, our words, our sounds was one of the first communication medium. So that is one of the very first media which was born. And following that, in some viewer you said that handwritten text also as a medium. Really nice, because that was the second media. We are not going to talk too much about it, like how to write for multimedia resources, but yes, we'll talk to audio. So I have given like 4 tips about each medium, and also I have given some things that you can avoid. So what is that you can actually keep in mind? When you are doing audio, I'll go actually bottom up. I will start by saying that remember that this is an audio resource. That's the first and the foremost thing you have to do. So when I say that, if imagine this was not a YouTube video, but this was a podcast. So you can easily imagine that I cannot say things like, okay, what you see on the right hand side is about the process of audio making, because people don't have any video source in front of them. Therefore, you cannot address such things in an audio broadcast. Remember that it's audio resource. You should have clear instructional purpose, because you can get into, when you are doing audio, you can get into longer explanations about something that is not required. So have clarity about what is the instructional purpose by making this particular audio track, and then start. It should be engaging, because you can use your voice modulation, because this is the only medium hitting the ears of the learners and the listeners. Therefore, you can use voice modulation, you can use pauses, you can use silence. Like I was waiting for your responses. That gives me a chance for you to talk or to respond. And which is the third thing, which is also very, very important, has to be ethical, just and inclusive, and fair to all. So don't be discriminatory, don't be using wrong words. Remember that we are talking to a very large audience. When we create multimedia material, it can go to thousands of people. So please remember all these points. And you can avoid things like speaking too fast and having noises in the background, or adding up new music to it or something. And obviously, longer explanations is not a very good idea when we talk about audio content. So this is something about the audio. I have actually a reference also here. Probably we will share it with you on our chat box, but maybe I'll just put it up in the description. The second one is about the graphic, and now I'm calling it graphic because I just wanted to capture everything which is visual but static in nature. So it can have everything like images, or even drawings and illustrations and flow charts and all this. Again, like the previous slide, I am going to explain about keep the graphic resources kind of very, very uncluttered, because clutter is something that actually spoils the communication for the people who are watching. There are lots of design principles out there, and each one of them will talk about color, contrast, balance, use of fonts, typography, and so on and so forth. Background, foreground, sizes, line thickness, tonal values. All these things are part of a graphic. And please remember, the most important thing is that whenever I am creating a visual, it has to be in such a way that it should kind of compel the viewer to see it exactly the way I want you to see it. For example, if you see the slide right now, what is the first thing that you see on the screen? You will see the title of the slide. And why is that? Because it is biggest in size. It is also the bold font used on the slide only for that particular sentence, process of creating graphic resources. Then you see, I want you to figure out that there are two paragraphs. One is about plan, and the second paragraph is about avoid. So you can see that because I am assuming people will read from left to right and top to bottom. The first one is about plan. I want you to read the second, which is avoid. And within plan, you can read 1, 2, 3 because it is already numbered like that. And finally, I want you to read the reference line, which is in a very small font size at the bottom. And further, there is a gray patch on which I have written the noting about which slide is this. Now, this is the order in which I want you to look at, and therefore it is created using information hierarchy from big size fonts to small size and the smallest size, which I want you to see at the last. I can even play with colors in this. Right now you can see it's a very, very black and white kind of imagery. But if I use colors and if I use appropriately, then the colors will also give you the same information title. They should give you the same information title. So for that, I also have an example, because what all you have to avoid is very easily shown into this. So if you see this particular image here, which is about some medical e-learning content, although the technology used is very nice, like you have some text, you have some person coming and speaking, but when you see the design quality of it, you can see that the fonts are not very friendly. They are too casual font. Its readability is a problem. Blue background and black text is again not readable. Too much of text already. You can also see that the person speaking or the presenter is so small that it's getting lost in the whole thing. And unnecessary graphics on the left hand side, you can have some imagery. All these things is pretty cluttered and not clear. Instead, if we just redesign it like this, then you can see that I can focus on the information hierarchy in a way that it would make sense to me. So I know that this is a chapter on ground safety. I know what is this all about. There is only one line of text that will explain, and then based on this, the presenter can keep talking. So these are the kind of changes that have to be done when you design graphics for particular things that you have to do. So this is what I wanted to share with you about all sorts of graphics. It could be photographs and so on. I'm not going to touch too much into that because a lot of material is available. However, we are going to skip to video resources. The videos is one of the most preferred medium, especially in the post-pandemic period or during pandemic basically. And all of you have seen multiple types of videos, because you must have seen a lot of e-learning content, and primarily they can be divided into 4 types. The one is instructor video, which is person speaking like I am doing right now. There could be slides, what you can see right now also. There would be screen capture. When I'm talking about a certain software, I'm teaching something, or I have to show something from some website or something, I would just share the screen directly. And like Tanvi did in the beginning, when she wanted to show you how to register for the course, that was the screen capture mode. And finally, there are people who would use handwritten notes when they have to explain something which is not typed, or they want to draw it and evolve it step by step when explaining things. If these are, let's say, 4 very primary modes of video making, what should be done for the first one, which is the instructor? Like in our technical terms, we call it as talking head. So this is what is going on, is talking head right now. The first thing is like try to maintain eye contact as much as possible, right? But like it's not mandatory that I should just keep looking into this lens all the time, because if I do, you on the other side always feels that you are talking to him or her. Now in this case, it works both ways. Sometimes it's an advantage because you create a personal connect by talking directly to them. At the same time, there could be people who will not be too much comfortable when you see like the entire session is given to you directly, like you are always talking to him or her. So they may just like to be actually not so much on the focus part. So you can use personalization part by actually being casual in terms of relax in front of the camera, but occasionally if you give eye contact to the camera lens, then it helps in the connect. Secondly, you can do modular, you can do retakes if necessary. Not in such things where we are doing a live session, but I am talking about multimedia content creation process. So this would be recorded videos which should be used later on. While making such videos, remember you can do retakes. You can use gestures, movements, expressions, but give emphasis to clear audio. Because whatever you do, however beautiful visual you have, audio is the thing because that is communicated. Use conversational style and voice modulation. But in addition, couple of other things, for example, avoid a noisy and unrelated distracting background. Like if it is neutral, it's fine. But avoid some very cluttered background because it just creates a visual disturbance for the viewers who are watching this. Minor glitches can be fixed by editing and post-production. So don't worry about too much about that. You don't have to be 100% perfect on that because it's a live interaction or any interaction going on with the learners, so it can be fine. When you are using slides, then basically you have to start with following the basic visual design principles. I have already spoken about it and it's kind of repetitive, but one point which is new here, which I wanted all of you to just go through. Avoid clutter on the slides and follow a rule called as 6 by 6 rule. Now what is this? So 6 by 6 means that you have to have 6 bullets or less in one slide. Maximum 6 bullets. You cannot have 7, 8, 10 bullets on one slide because it is too much cognitively to take up one slide which is going on and on for 20 minutes. Max 6 bullets, and in 6 bullets you can have only 6 words in a bullet. So this kind of constraint, it's not like very hard and fast. As you can see, there could be sentences with more words also. Like for example, the last sentence I've written here, never read the slides because viewers can read them. Right? So you don't have to actually read out everything that is coming on the screen. Therefore, avoid direct reading of the slides. Instead, you can speak around that topic, you can paraphrase those points. Use these bullet points only to explain things. I'm telling you this because I have seen in many presentations, whether it is live or recorded, where the speakers simply read out whatever is written on this. Or more bad things happen where people have very, very crowded paragraphs written on the slide. And that actually generates in boredom. And I've seen that the videos are not watched completely by the viewers that you are intending at this. So therefore, what should be done for that? And here is a reflection spot. So here is your chance to actually respond to me. So if you have committed a mistake while recording the video, then what would be a way to repair it? So if you can think of how to address this particular problem, you can just start typing the answers, and Tanvi can be probably helping me out if there are some responses to this question that you can see on screen right now.
Absolutely, sir. So, we're waiting for the responses.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my suggestion would be to the viewers is that don't give a long detailed answer. You can just give a very short answer, like 1 word or 2 word answer also is fine.
So let's go on with yes. So once I'll receive the responses, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. So yes, we will just not show the discussion slide right now because whenever it comes, I'll come back to that slide.
Okay. So we have got a few answers, and many are saying remakes, some are saying editing. Sonia Kaur is saying editing, Muhammad Iqbal is saying editing, and editing the video, that's the maximum response we have received. Retake, Girish Govind is saying retake, Rashmi is saying retake. So yes, these are the 3 maximum responses we have received. Edit, retake, and yes, one more. Remake.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so I think most of them are bang on target. Like yes, even my slide shows like re-record is the simplest solution. However, I just wanted to give one more tip here. Like if when I'm speaking, for example, I have to say that re-record with the camera in the front and use Sony PTZ for best results. If this is my sentence, and while saying, suppose I say, if use the camera in the front and use Panasonic PTZ 200. Oh, sorry, Sony PTZ 200. So if you fumble in such a video recording, never ever repeat the correct word immediately after the fumble. In such case, stop completely and start the sentence from the beginning. So the editing colleagues, like the editing team, can easily cut the whole thing and paste it in. But if you just fumble and repair it, it is very difficult to cut that portion out. So yeah, that is one tip that I thought of sharing. And yeah, you have editing options also. Sometimes you can actually do a very minor edit and remove that word. So don't worry about fumble. And over and above all these things, because we are doing a recording of a teacher, and we all know that we are not actors, it's okay to, even if we have certain kind of what you can term as mistakes, I think we should just take it with chill pill. Okay, so going to the next option of screen capture. Okay, so what are things to be remembered while doing a screen capture? It's a very important medium nowadays because you can, using screen capture, you can also record your audio with the slides. So this is also a multimedia resource because you have visual, you have audio, you don't have to show your face, and that works best. You can use it for software demonstrations, website navigations, process like slide, using explanation by using slides, or you can actually have a synchronized version of click here, open this page, type here. All these things, kind of synchronized actions, are very important here because there are a lot of people who will actually listen to your resource and do their own stuff as a practice. So remember that people are going to follow you. So in case you want to, you can give little bit of time in between. Like you can say that, okay, now take this particular text box and enter your text here, and then wait because they will take time to write. Such things are very important. Again, when you are recording the screen, avoid showing unnecessary tabs or some other screens or which will actually create a cut. Even when you are creating a screen recording, remember to increase the font size of the browser so that the text is clearly visible. So such things, remember that you should be very aware of. And the last thing that I have written is that because you are the expert about that software or whatever you are showing on screen, and you have seen it multiple times, doesn't mean that the viewers will get it in the first go. So try to be very slow and remember that viewers are seeing it for the first time. Many of the viewers probably are seeing it for the first time. So give them the time. In fact, some of the screen capture softwares also allow the mouse cursor with a yellow dot or something actually going through various parts so that people can track it. Sometimes the mouse pointer is so small that I cannot figure out where the instructor has actually taken the mouse pointer and clicked something. So in order to avoid all these jumps, probably it's better to have an option for this. Then we go to something which is very, very essential for mathematics teachers most of the time, and they need handwritten notes. This is very good for annotation. They can personalize because you have actual handwriting of the teacher, and step-by-step explanation is quite beautifully done in this. You can also add additional graphics to it. You can have arrow, you can underline, all these things. But avoid making complex words. If you are to a certain point that you have completed a part of the concept, then please move to a fresh page and start from there, rather than actually adding some small dots here and there. So it's really confusing for you. So that is very important if you ensure readability. So this is for what you have to do for capturing handwriting. And now we will come to something which is kind kind of other resources. These are the basic resources of types of resources which actually are created under the tag of a video. So therefore, let us see if we can add some more information about other resources such as animations. So this is a very common question asked to me, like how to create animation resources. Now it's a session in itself, and maybe multiple sessions are required to explain how to create animation resource. But first and the foremost, I would like to tell you that whenever you are going to do the animation resource or create animation resource, please remember that it should pass this particular criteria, that the objects or something that you are going to show are not possible to be captured by the camera. It's the first thing that you can remember. Because if you can shoot by camera, please go for it as the first option, because that is more believable, as I said in my first lecture also, and it looks very approachable. So any viewer watching it, they feel like, okay, this is something I've seen already. If you create a graphical representation of the same thing, it starts looking alien to me, and it starts looking too technical to me, and at the end, the communication is something that gets hampered. The second part of kind of extension of animation or graphic motion graphics could be called as simulation, where interactivity is important. Now, as I go one step down here from animations, this requires lot of computer skills. Simulations are something that are not easily possible for every teacher that they can do. Same applies to animation also. But thanks to pandemic, that most of us actually learned how to do videos using our mobiles. So now suddenly making a video has become one of the easiest resource creation. But animation still requires a lot of effort. I can recommend that there are open source tools such as Blender, which are available for creating animations, or even SketchUp for certain architectural animations. Please use them, and you can actually create interesting graphics using that. For simulations, the important point to be remembered is that you have to select the appropriate parameters to be customized. Like when you are showing an example of, maybe it's a bad example, but I'll still give that because it's very funny that in one of the such tutorials it came up. Like if you have to show something on gravity, so the person was thinking that she will create a actual example of scientists sitting below the tree and the fruit falling down. So she said that, okay, let me put the scene in an animation mode, and let's see that you can drop it. And the moment you click on something, it will drop down and it will record the timing, and she wanted to actually talk about gravity and so on and so on. However, while giving interactivity and customization, she just thought of like, okay, can I show different tree instead of the popular story of the apple and the scientist? So can I show a different story? Maybe I'll try if I can customize it with different tree. And immediately the class actually burst out in laughter, because imagine if you show a coconut falling on somebody, or a watermelon maybe falling on somebody. Probably the gravity won't be the topic to be discussed. The scientist's life would be in danger in such case. So where to offer the interactivity is more important as a decision. So remember that simulation is a very, very sharp tool. If you give wrong kind of options for wrong settings, I think it's not going to work. So that is what I can think about simulations. There are again multiple softwares, multiple programming languages such as Python, or you can also have HTML5, which are very, very proficient and used worldwide for creating such things. I can also suggest a simulation environment known as PHET, which is available for free, and it has some millions of interesting scientific simulations available for free. So please have a look at it. Those of you who already know about, can please type this URL in the chat box. It's PHET. So if you can just look at that resource, it will be nice. Coming to lab recordings or the demonstration recordings, this definitely adds realism. Most of the video making techniques that I have already discussed apply to this shooting also. However, this also has a very important component of editing, because sometimes you have to move the camera after every shot. Like you are showing a full person near the scientific equipment and trying to mix liquids and actually maybe put it up on burner and things like that. But you will also need additional shots for completing the narration. When I say that, okay, I'll now heat up this particular liquid and then I'll mix powder here and all that, I have to actually show the full shot where the person with the entire equipment is seen putting up the beaker on the burner. But then I'll also require a separate shot to be taken where the camera is only showing the burner and the beaker. And then we can also come back again to the long shot where the person is now mixing the powder. Again, we show a close-up of how powder is getting mixed up with the liquid. Now, these are additional shots which are not so easy and seamless unless you have multiple camera setups. But it is possible to do that. If you don't have multiple camera setups, you have to remember to actually use editing for joining all these small shots that you have actually created. So this is how actually it happens. And finally, there is also an option of classroom lectures, where most of the people prefer this option where a natural setting, the students are there, the interaction is still happening, and the teacher is in her sense, like she is already in control of things. Like she knows like how people are responding to her points and what are the question answers happening there. All these things, audience participation, their responses, everything gets covered automatically. This is a very, very crucial point. So if you get to these kind of resources, probably that would be a very interesting option to have. So yeah, so this is where I think we should be going. And if we have any questions which are really requiring my attention, then we let me know.
So we have got multiple questions on whatever you have discussed so far. So should we take them up?
Yes.
Okay. So one of our viewers, Raj, he has, firstly, he is agreeing to what you said earlier, that he says, yes, sir, we can practice for minimizing mistakes before streaming or uploading the video. That's where you were talking about the mistakes people do while uploading the video. So here he agrees, and here is also asking a question. He says that every child has different mental ability. So how can we choose which multimedia resource is best suited for which age group or a particular class?
Interesting question and very nice point added. Yes, practice is very, very important before we actually upload anything anywhere. The question is about what medium to choose for which age group. I think at one end, I definitely agree that we should remember what age group are we targeting, but on the primary side, we should definitely decide what is the content that we need to upload. So it depends on the type of content, what we have to use as a medium. And I have used this analogy earlier on, but today we'll take some other analogy. For example, if we are talking about history, we are teaching history. Whether we are teaching it to, it is suppose let's say history of Chola dynasty. Now the point is like he said, if it is for school, maybe primary or secondary classes, then what should be the medium? Whether audio, video, animation, simulation, what all should be the thing, or whether we are teaching to high school or maybe college age students. So it's a very good question, very valid question. Again, the answer would be based on your instructional objectives. If your objective is for them to remember the chronology of events that have happened in the Chola dynasty, and they have to retain the the period according to the years, the names of the rulers, and what were the important things happening to that. These require graphics in a very important moment. So you can use a combination of graphics. Probably it doesn't require a video. You don't have to be stage kind of a theatrical presentation of something. You can also do that. In fact, I was very pleasantly surprised when one of the best theatre personality told me that, okay, why not allow us to stage a play about Chola dynasty, and then we will get everything into that. But yeah, these are kind of far-fetched ideas as of now. But to start with, even if we have graphics which will show a representative picture of the person, the ruler, the date and timings and period in which the person has ruled, and the important aspects during his or her regime are highlighted. So it's a combination of text and imagery that would be interesting. And because you also need a personal connect, the face of the storyteller, face of the person who is narrating is also important. So it will become, maybe in my opinion, it could be a picture-in-picture kind of thing, like you can see in one of the presentations right now here. You can see my picture on one corner and maybe the slide in the rest of the space. These kinds of things are pretty useful while creating such content.
Okay. All right. Sir, I would request you to answer the questions briefly because we have received a lot of questions and we don't have that much time. So we have got last 10 minutes left. So would you like to finish your presentation first, or should I keep on asking the questions?
Take the second question. Most of the answers lie in this slide.
Okay, all right. Next question is by Noshin Ali, and she is asking, while capturing screen from video, how can we add audio on one particular screen?
Okay, so the short answer to that is that the easy option is that I think she is talking about adding audio in a presentation, is it, or capturing?
Capturing, she's asking capturing. Adding audio on one particular screen capture.
Correct. So the simple answer is that capture it for all the screens.
Okay.
But you can actually use simple video editing tools to remove the audio from rest of the screen if you don't want it. That's much more easier to do that. The third option is that you capture. There are settings in screen capture where you say that don't capture audio for these screens, cut the screen capture at that point. Do a new capture with the audio for the screen that you want to have audio, and then join both of them so that you can get. So that's the answer.
Okay, all right. Our next question is by Dhananjay Kumar Yadav, and he's asking what care or any tips that should be keep in mind at the time of developing the multimedia resources.
Okay, so yeah, these are the recommendations. Like I said, most of the answers lie on this slide. So after all that presentation that you saw, if I can summarize that, it would be about avoid, basically this is for the overall production peak. I have already spoken about personal points about shooting and slides and other things. But just, yeah, add some small music piece in the beginning just for people to know and focus that, okay, now the lecture is coming up. But it also helps them to adjust the sound system, right? If the speakers are fine and all that. Finally, don't remember to give credits to those who have helped in these. That's a very, very important thing. And remember the cultural context, because we are talking about a country which has multiple cultures going all around. So whatever you think is correct in this culture may not be appropriate in others. So remember that, and then use imagery and things like that. And finally, just to avoid redoing of things, have frequent backups of whatever you are doing, because you may suddenly land up into a situation. I made a fantastic video, but I don't have it now. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Another viewer, Ram, he's asking, for automation program, how can we bring instruments in schools, or can we take students to industrial visits?
Yes. So you can do both of them actually if the industry permits you to carry those equipment in the school. If you cannot do that, you can take permission from the industry people to go there and shoot the demonstration video of this kind of machinery, which is only available in those places. Exactly, in fact, one of the questions which was asked to me in the chat box also earlier on was exactly about the same thing. So it's not about availability part in the school, because everything may not be available in every school. So you can use multimedia to actually shoot that particular procedure or the equipment in action, bring it in the school and show it to the benefit of the students.
Okay, okay. So R.A. Singh, one of the viewers, he's asking, for small kids, can we use paper cutout animation?
Yes, this is very wonderfully, this is something very nearer to my heart also, being animated. Yes, cutout animation can be used as a thing. In fact, you can use a lot of role play into that. You can actually title the cutouts. If you have characters, you can have objects like, okay, what is the pencil saying to the rubber? So you can have a cutout of a pencil, you can have a cutout of a rubber. This also can be very creative. If you tell learners or the students in your classroom to give voiceovers for write their own dialogues and scripts about that.
Okay.
Point here being that all these things take a lot of time and a lot of patience from the teacher's side. But I've definitely seen teachers doing even puppet animation and play animation to explain certain concepts. As I said repeatedly, that concept decides the medium. What you have to explain actually is the best thing, and then you can actually pick and choose. Like same thing, cutout animation is very good when you cannot actually make a pencil and a rubber speak for themselves. You will not get such that. So maybe cutout animation is very good, very effective, and it uses less resources, because if you want to make a 3D animation of that, you require advanced production personnel to do all that. It's a very nice idea. Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's take one last question, and here it is by Anita Sood, and she's asking what kind of videos we can make for children with special needs in the class, and we can help them.
Yes, sure. So we have a range of requirements in that case. So first and the foremost would be just to add a layer of subtitles for people who will not able to hear it. So they would be able to see what I am saying and get to the whole thing. There, like again, I said, if there is an excellent video of some industrial automation that is going on, and when you bring it to the class, don't bring it with the exact voices and noises that was recorded in the industry. For differently abled learners, even if they are, suppose they are blind, because the other people will be able to see what is happening in that equipment, the blind people may not be able to see it. So if you have visually impaired people, you have to add a layer of narration in it. So you can mute the entire soundtrack of the noises and all that, or reduce the volume of that, and add your own narration, explaining bit by bit about, okay, this is the lever that you have to pull, this is the button that you have to press. After pressing the button, this thing will go up slowly and reach up to this point, and then it will take the 45 degrees. All this you have to explain along with the action which is happening on the screen, so that the visually impaired learners also can listen. So you can actually have visual, you can have a good voiceover narration and the subtitle text, so that it will benefit most of the people that you have in the class.
All right. I think for all the teachers, the special education teachers, the teachers who are teaching in inclusive classrooms, this information is very beneficial to all of them. So we've got a huge response for this entire program, and we've got so many questions, and because of the time constraint we can't take them all up, but we've got multiple requests for how to use multimedia resources for primary level, for elementary level, for secondary level. I would request all the students, all the viewers to watch all the earlier videos and even today's video once again, and you'll get these answers. They're already there. Our experts have answered this question yesterday yesterday and even day before yesterday. So please watch it. And one query we received, and the person said, yesterday I missed the class, can I get the recording? So yes, you can definitely get the recording. You can see the link of registration and certification on your screens at this moment. If you click on that link, you will get all the information regarding this online training, and you will also get the list, the link of the playlist link. If you click on that, all the videos which have been done earlier, day 1, 2, 3, and even today's video, they are in that playlist. So you can simply watch the earlier videos, and you can get prepared. You can prepare yourself for the quiz which will be given to you tomorrow after completion of this online training. So here we are wrapping up our today's session, but let me show you the website once again. All you have to do is type CIET in your Google screens, and when you'll get this screen, here is the website. You will be here, and once you click on events, the third last option is workshop/training. Just click on it, scroll it further. This is the current activity. Click here, and the next page will be all about today's online training. And all the schedule, all the details are mentioned. See here the video of day 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the videos are uploaded here. Just click on it, and this is the main thing. Register yourself, fill this form, and be a part, or scan this QR code. It's very simple process. 22nd to 26th of August, these 5 days are for this online training on multimedia resources for teaching, learning, and assessment. The link of quiz will be updated here, particularly here. And any more questions you have, then training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. That is the email ID. So we'll be looking forward to all your questions, and I hope you'll be there tomorrow for the final day, where we'll be discussing our topic, and that will be developing multimedia resources using FOSS. All the details will be given to you tomorrow only, and also the quiz link. So all the very best. And we're wrapping up this particular program, but let me thank our expert, Dr. Samir here. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this program and for making this entire program so interactive and so catchy that everyone was so interested in being a part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the viewers once again for being with us. I hope you have registered yourself. For now, we're wrapping up, and coming up next is our Sayog program. The topic of discussion would be turning challenges into learning experiences. Stay here, don't go anywhere. Thank you once again. Namaskar.